Tonight, stabbed with a box cutter. A 16-year-old girl tells 9 News she thought she was going to die.
The heartbroken family of the murdered Doncaster doctor remember him as a beautiful boy.
Australia celebrates as Queen Mary takes the throne in Denmark. Her coronation sealed with a kiss.
We're live to Rod Laver Arena as Alex de Minaur gets ready to raise hell.
Fears the industrial dispute on our wharves could push up the price of everyday essentials. And
out of the freezer, Jacinta Allen ends Daniel Andrews' 7-year ban on 3AW.
This is Melbourne's 9 News with Alicia Loxley and Tom Steinfort.
Good evening. A 16-year-old girl viciously stabbed in the neck with a box cutter has bravely spoken about her ordeal.
Kiara Williams was walking home from a party when she was set upon in Melbourne's northeast. She spoke exclusively to crime reporter Gillian Lantouris.
Her battle scars are on show, but Kiara Williams is alive to tell her tale.
The back of my head was like, am I dying right now? And that was scary.
The 16-year-old was on her way home from a gathering in Greensborough when she was viciously attacked.
Everything kind of was black. It was like my ears were just like ringing.
Stabbed in the neck and arm, allegedly, by 2 youths. She was left bleeding on the grass at War Memorial Park on a Saturday night last October.
I didn't know that I had been stabbed in the neck until who I was standing with was like, your neck. And then I grabbed it and I was like, oh my God.
The Year 11 student was taken to the Royal Melbourne where she had surgery.
Every time I look at my arm, you just see this huge cut and it's just a constant reminder.
Kiara's wounds are healing, but the scars you can't see remain.
I just have to keep an eye out everywhere. So whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, I'm just so like cautious of my surroundings now.
That pain also being felt by Kiara's mum, who found her only child semi-conscious in the park.
She's doing worse than me. She doesn't know how to cope.
She permitted her daughter to speak to 9 News. Kiara says since the attack here in Greensborough, she has struggled with basic tasks like catching public transport and going to the shops. She's spoken out in the hopes it'll prevent it from happening to another young person.
Everyone deserves to be able to walk and not be scared that they're going to get a knife pulled on them.
Gillian Lantouris, 9 News.
Scum of the earth, that's how the family of murdered Doncaster doctor Ash Gordon has described the thugs responsible for his death. The 33-year-old sister has remembered her brother as a cheeky and fun-loving man who always wanted to help. Reid Butler spoke to her.
To Ash Gordon's patients, he was doctor, but he'll always be Natalie's little brother and Uncle Doc to her children.
Very, very special guy. He just had this charisma about him that everybody just loved.
The 33-year-old was stabbed to death early on Saturday morning after chasing a group of intruders from his Doncaster home.
Honestly, scum. Scum of the earth. How any decent person could do that to another human being is beyond me.
The GP grew up in Gippsland but moved to Melbourne around 10 years ago to pursue his passions, medicine and helping people.
He was very much about look good, feel good was Ashley's motto.
Just as he started hitting career highs, Dr. Gordon's life was cut short. There are growing floral tributes at the scene of his death. His colleagues at the Box Hill Super Clinic have also opened up. Dr. Gordon was well loved and respected by everyone, and our prayers and thoughts are with his family and loved ones. It's understood at least 4 people had broken into the home.
Of course, we'd all do the same thing and try and, bring justice or catch him and at least get the cops to get their hands on him.
CCTV obtained by 9 News shows a group of teenagers from a nearby party running up and down the street earlier that night. No one has been arrested. The homicide squad working around the clock to track down those responsible as the Gordon family makes funeral arrangements.
Well, you never want to have to bury your own children or give them your plot. So, as you can imagine, yeah, they're really struggling.
And Reid Butler has the latest for us on this from Doncaster tonight. Reid, are police any closer to finding the killers?
Well, the family tell me they understand that police are making headway, Alicia, but there has been no formal update from homicide detectives today. Clearly a complex investigation involving multiple offenders. There has been some reporting that a car was used in this attack on Dr. Gordon. In addition to him being stabbed, his family say that this is not the case and they wanted that cleared up. So a horrific time for all involved, and you could just see it on Natalie's face there. There is nothing that Dr. Gordon's loved ones want more than for those responsible for his shocking death to be caught and thrown in jail. Alicia?
Yes, indeed. OK, Reid, thank you.
Hobart-born Queen Mary has ascended to Denmark's throne alongside her husband, Frederik.
Thousands of adoring Danes flooded the streets of Copenhagen, waving Danish and Australian flags. Brett McLeod is there.
A crowning glory, royally sealed with a kiss. To the delight of tens of thousands gathered outside Christiansborg Palace. King Frederick X and Queen Mary, Australian-born, now a Danish sovereign. This day has been decades in the making, but in line with the low-key style monarchy here, there was no coronation and little ceremony. But its significance for the Danes abundantly clear. Every vantage point a sea of red and white flags. And there were some true blue ones as well. Sheridan and her family, originally from Brisbane. What's it like being an Aussie in Copenhagen right now?
It's really exciting. It's fun walking around with a kangaroo because we stand out.
Mary's such an amazing role model for young girls all over the world, and she's so elegant both in her style and her actions.
The historic occasion began at the Amalienborg Palace, the changing of the guard before the changing of the throne. Visitors on the freezing morning given a warm welcome from down under.
Today, I think Australians want to show their support for the new King and Queen.
It was just after 1:30 when crowds had their first glimpse of Mary waving from the car on the way to Christiansborg Palace, along with Frederick and their son, 18-year-old Christian, the incoming heir. Close behind them, the much-loved and long-serving Margrethe II, riding in the 19th century golden wedding carriage made for the 50th anniversary of her great-great-grandparents. The mood jubilant. Most throne accessions are sombre after the death of a monarch, but today, with the first voluntary abdication in 800 years, it was all celebration. The official proceedings started and finished within minutes. Queen Margrethe signed the Declaration of Abdication at a Council of State meeting in Christiansborg. Frederick invited to take her seat. God save the king, she said, and she left the palace, letting her son have the moment. And what a moment it was. An emotional Frederick greeting crowds from the balcony. He wiped away tears as the Prime Minister officially proclaimed him king with 9 hurrahs, echoed by the Danish people. His speech was brief. It's a responsibility I take on with respect, pride and great joy, he said. I'm going to need all the support I can get from my beloved wife, from my family, from you. Then he was joined by his queen, dressed in an elegant white gown, and the reaction was loud and clear. Their 4 children then emerged, a united family front, following questions in recent days about the state of the couple's marriage. Frederick and Mary holding hands arm in arm. That kiss today and those tears reminiscent of their 2004 wedding.
While Frederick was born into royalty, this completes an extraordinary journey for his wife. When she first came here, she was Mary Donaldson. Now she's greeted as Queen Mary.
3 visitors from Sydney among those celebrating coming within metres of royalty.
What was it like seeing them go past?
Amazing. Beautiful. Could not have got a better view. In 10, 20, 50 years, we'll be thinking we were there when Mary became Queen. And Frederick too, I guess, is there.
Well wishes coming too from other royal families. King Charles saying, I look forward to working with you on ensuring that the enduring bond between our countries and our families remains strong. As a display of 5,000 fireworks lit up the skies over Copenhagen, Australian celebrations went into the night.
Even though, yes, we've had to hand her over, sort of officially, she will always, have a place in our heart.
In Copenhagen, Brett McLeod, 9 News.
And let's go live now to our Europe correspondent, Brett McLeod, there in Copenhagen. Brett, a historic day just gone. What now for the King and Queen?
Well, after those extraordinary scenes yesterday, Tom, it's estimated over 100,000 people crammed into the old town of Copenhagen. Today, one more low-key affair for the couple. They'll be leaving here at Amalienborg Palace and going over to the Danish Parliament, where there'll be an official reception for them. That's the last of the major events to mark their ascension to the throne for the new King and Queen. And there's been a light dusting of snow as well. So here in the land of Hans Christian Andersen, a bit of a fairy tale finish, Tom.
Yeah, that is a chilly-looking Copenhagen. Brett McLeod there, thank you. Well, there are high expectations on world number 10, Alex de Minaur, whose Australian Open campaign swings into gear tonight. Let's head live to Tony Jones, who is at Melbourne Park. And TJ, look, not the easiest start for the Demon there.
No, that's right, Tommy. He's up against the former world number 3 in Milos Raonic, and of course his greatest weapon is his serve. He's renowned for it on the World Tour regardless of his ranking, and that is certainly something that he's going to have to counter today, he being Alex de Minaur. But what the Demon does have is an amazing level of crowd support, and Milos Raonic will find that out for himself when they walk onto Rod Laver Arena just after 7 o'clock, and the Demon, who is now in the top 10, will be buoyed by the fact that he is the home crowd favourite. So that's the challenge for him tonight. That's the challenge for Milos Raonic. And just to give you a taste of the level of support that the Demon does have, Nat Ioannidis is also here at Melbourne Park, and Nat, they're ready to back him all the way.
And Tony, we've got just over an hour before it all gets underway at Rod Laver Arena, but as you can see behind me, the party's already getting started here at Grand Slam Oval. There's plenty of fans and there's plenty of green and gold. We've got some Aussie fans here. Guys, who are you supporting today? That's right. And how do we think he's going to go? He's going to win! So if the fans are anything to go by, it's going to be a big win for Alex de Minaur. Now, we can tell you that he's just finished his hit up on Rod Laver Arena. That went for about half an hour, so he's ready to go for this showdown with Milos Raonic, the former world number 3. You already mentioned he's got a big serve. He is going to be a big challenge as far as first round games go, but with support like this, how could he go wrong? It's certainly going to be a great occasion and a great spectacle for everyone that's there and everybody watching at home as well.
All right, good on you. Nat Ioannidis reporting there from somewhere else at Melbourne Park. It is a very, very warm night. In fact, it's been that way all day, and that weather has certainly attracted thousands to Melbourne Park for day 2. Among them, a couple of names you might know, former world champions in Pat Rafter and Ash Barty, who are getting behind their own passion projects. Mimi Becker reports.
The Australian Open is heating up as another huge crowd filed in.
The atmosphere, the game, it's amazing.
Green and gold glistened, the Australian support loud and proud.
Go the Demon!
Go Demon!
From long-time supporters...
We're going to be here all week. We come every day. Every year, we've been coming for 36 years.
To first-time fans, brighter days shining a light for children with cancer and their families.
Today is all about just bringing them together and making special memories.
Musician Red Foo relished in the family time.
Now he's trying to hit that ball.
Before pairing up with rising Australian doubles star Edward Winter for a hit of table tennis.
This has exceeded my expectations, and I'm amazed.
I've been coming to the AO ever since I was born, really, as a spectator, and to be here, to be playing, it is a dream come true, to be honest.
And in the suites, it's another world. Ralph Lauren welcomed guests with champagne and cocktails.
Is this how to do the tennis? Well, if you can, I think it is a pretty good way to do the tennis.
Or you can try your hand at a new game. Pat Rafters smashing it at Padel Tennis.
It's a cross between squash and tennis. It really is a different game. It's a different bat. It's a different feel.
From one former world number 1 to another, today Ash Barty officially launched her foundation. This evening she'll auction off prized match outfits to help give back to the community.
Our purpose is to provide opportunity to young boys and girls through sport and education, 2 of my biggest passion pieces, and I think now being able to bring it all together is really exciting.
Mimi Becker, 9 News.
Well, Alicia, that countdown is continuing the lead up to tonight's match with Alex de Minaur. He's not the only Australian who, of course, was scheduled to step onto court today. There has been mixed results. We'll look at those a little later on in sport. We'll also be joined by John Millman. I'll see you then.
Plenty happening. We look forward to it, Tony. We'll see you very soon. Australia's Foreign Minister is on her way to the Middle East for a week-long visit, 100 days since the October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. Penny Wong will use the trip to renew calls for a ceasefire and advocate for the avoidance of further regional conflict.
Australia is not a central player in the Middle East, but we are a respected voice. And I'll be using our voice to advocate for a pathway out of this conflict.
The minister will meet survivors as well as Palestinians impacted by Israeli settler violence in the West Bank. The man accused of last September's deadly Burke Street rampage has been committed to stand trial.
Zane Khan pleaded not guilty as he complained about the conditions in jail in a bizarre rant. Amber Johnston was there.
Appearing on a video link, Zane Khan stared directly down the camera smiling before he knocked the lens, damaging it. A magistrate found enough evidence for the 26-year-old to face the Supreme Court over last September's deadly Burke Street rampage. He's facing a string of charges, including murder. Police alleging he took his mum's car and drove it down Burke Street, mowing down 3 pedestrians before he allegedly sped up and smashed into 2 cars, killing a 76-year-old philanthropist. When Khan first appeared in court today, he asked for his mum before he went on a rant about the conditions in jail. "I want to go back to hospital," he said. "I've been asking for a month now. It's disgusting, filthy. They're not giving me clean clothes." Khan repeatedly interrupted the magistrate, talking over the top of people before his microphone was eventually cut off. The case fast-tracked to the Supreme Court, where he'll appear next month for the evidence to be tested before it goes to trial. Amber Johnston, 9 News.
The industrial standoff at Australia's ports could stretch for months, threatening jobs and the cost of clothes and white goods. Tonight, DP World and the unions are calling for an intervention to end the dispute. Political editor Charles Croucher.
Problems at our ports tonight, a warning there's worse to come.
We expected this to go on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and maybe months and months and months, and there's an escalation of that and a snowball effect on that.
DP World is one of our major port operators, with clothing and white goods for major retailers flowing in, while Australian meat and produce is leaving our shores. The company prices the dispute at $84 million every week, a cost that now could be bound for consumers.
We need to make sure that we've got goods moving around the country.
Tonight, rolling 2-hour stoppages continue, plus longer pauses in some ports.
So that's a little bit like parking a truck in a drive-through at McDonald's and saying, look, I'm parking this one here.
We need politicians in Australia to stop dancing to the tune of the royal family of Dubai and back Australian workers.
The current offer is for an 8% sign-on bonus, followed by an 8% pay rise for the current year and 8% next year, plus added super, with company figures putting the average current wage around $130,000 per year. The union's banking on unity between Australia's shippers and shoppers.
Pay rises for Australian families means money in the Australian economy, in all of our local economies around the country.
Both sides want government intervention, but tonight there's no sign of that.
We think all parties should come back to the table and negotiate in good faith. We do know that this needs to be resolved as quickly as it can be.
While it's the ports threatening prices, the government may choose the supermarkets for intervention, with an ACCC investigation now looming. Charles Croucher, 9 News.
When 9 News Melbourne returns, police swarm a home in Werribee after a man was found with a gunshot wound.
The Premier ends her predecessor's morning radio boycott.
And our star of Succession wins another major award.
That demolition from de Minaur, such an impressive display. The career best win.
Australia, tonight is the night. World number 10, Alex de Minaur.
Australia's top hope.
His quest for AO glory starts here.
Oh, that is out of this world. This is what it means.
Watch the demon unleash. De Minaur, Roundage.
De Minaur dazzles in Melbourne.
Tonight on 9 and 9 now.
Hey, girl, beautiful. Excuse me.
Get another look with your New Year benefits. Get 2 designer pairs, no gap, with selected health funds. Should have gone to Specsavers.
Ublinds Australia's once-a-year stocktake sale is on now. For 2 weeks only, all products are half price. Shutters, security, curtains, zip screens and all other products. Don't miss out.
Get more zeros in your life. Win the world's biggest jackpots right here in Australia. Play now at lotteryoffice.com.au.
The old guard think they can keep out the new people with impunity. Don't worry, I have a plan.
The war is heating up.
I'm not surprised.
The Gilded Age, now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Oh!
What do you think?
Thanks, Mum.
There are oh so many reasons to choose Toyota, like Toyota Genuine Accessories.
Toyota.
New Married at First Sight starts Monday, Jan 29 on 9 and 9 Now.
A man is in hospital after he was shot in Werribee. The 35-year-old was found at a home on Swallow Street just after 5:30 this morning. He suffered an upper body injury and is at the Royal Melbourne in a stable condition.
Jacinta Allen has been grilled live on radio over a secret bailout paid to Tennis Australia. 7 years after Daniel Andrews enforced a ban on 3AW, the Premier broke the deadlock. State political reporter Mark Santamartino.
With a new host in Neil Mitchell's chair and a new Premier calling the shots.
Thank you. Appreciate it. No worries.
Jacinta Allen stepped up to a microphone Daniel Andrews had refused to grace since 2017 to justify a secret $63 million bailout paid to Tennis Australia.
Would you ask them to repay the $63 million?
The tennis is a big anchor in our calendar of major events.
The Australian Open brings hundreds of millions of dollars into Victoria every year, but when COVID hit, crowds were cut, and Victoria's Treasurer okayed the payment to ensure that Tennis Australia remains solvent and can manage its cash flow until October 2022.
For the government to have made a payment weeks out from the 2022 state election and not told anybody about it is just unacceptable.
Tennis Australia owns this event. The Grand Slam here at Melbourne Park is not going anywhere. If the government has nothing to hide, why did it take an FOI to uncover the $63 million payment that was made to Tennis Australia?
Victoria's Sport Minister refused to confirm if that's where the bailout stopped or whether any other code received similar payments. A price tag also wasn't put on the new Arden train station, the first of 5 along the Metro Tunnel, where major construction is finished.
That's been cool.
Now construction's complete, it's time for testing to make sure these doors talk to the trains, which talk to the command centre in time for the entire thing to open to the public in 2025.
When it's completed, it's going to absolutely transform our rail network.
Mark Santamartino, 9 News.
The rich are getting richer, with new research showing Australia's wealthiest people have doubled their fortunes in the past 3 years, as the rest of the country feels the cost of living pinch. Finance editor Chris Kohler.
Australia is home to more than 140 billionaires, most living quiet but extravagant lives out of the spotlight. But new research shows their wealth is exploding more than we might have realised. According to Oxfam, that group of billionaires increased their wealth 70% over the last 3 years. And the top 3 richest, Gina Rinehart, Andrew Forrest and Harry Triguboff, raked in $1.5 million every hour. At the same time, separate research today outlined that a majority of Australians are feeling some sort of financial difficulty. The researchers say that puts a keen focus on stage 3 tax cuts and should mean wealth, windfall and estate taxes are considered too.
And what we're saying is it's critical at this point that governments intervene to fix that system, to ensure that we here in Australia, but also our responsibilities internationally, are able to be met.
And if you think that Australian billionaires have it good, the report also predicts the world's first trillionaire will be seen within the next decade. Right now, Elon Musk is in the box seat.
Australians have taken out major awards at the 29th Critics' Choice Awards in Los Angeles. Elizabeth Debicki was named Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series for her role as Diana in The Crown, while Sarah Snook picked up Best Actress in a Drama Series for Succession.
This job
was extraordinary and such a joy to go into work every day and play dress-ups, really.
Margot Robbie missed out, unfortunately, but her blockbuster Barbie took home Best Comedy.
OK, Lavinia Nixon joins us now from Show Court 6 at Melbourne Park. Evening to you, Lavinia. This is fast becoming known as the Party Court.
Hi, Alicia. Well, as they say, build it and they will come. Especially when it's a two-storey courtside bar. Just one of the many innovations here this year. And to tell us all about it, I'm joined by Britt Weeks from Tennis Australia. Hi, Britt.
Hi, Lavinia. How are you?
I'm great. I'm in a party bar.
I mean, look at it. Look at it.
This is a whole new way to watch tennis.
You're absolutely right. I mean, things are well and truly hitting different for AO 2024. You saw it yesterday with a historical Sunday start. And I mean, look at this. The jewel in the crown that is Courtside Bar. It is tennis viewing like you have never seen. Not only are you getting closer to the players, but you can sit back, listen to the DJs as we're dancing here before. And you can, you know, eat on the snack of the summer, which is the prawn roll. So
sounds delightful. And this is all available on a ground pass. You can sit there, have a drink and watch the tennis. And Alicia and Tom, the weather is looking fantastic, and I'll be back later in the bulletin with details on when we can expect some rain here at Melbourne Park. Sorry.
Looking forward to seeing you. Not so much the rain, Lavinia, but thank you. All right, coming up in 9 News, V-Line workers threaten more commuter chaos as their pay dispute drags on.
Also ahead, a Melbourne man extradited over a New Year's Day murder.
And Donald Trump still the hot favourite as the presidential race begins in freezing Iowa.
It's a game of strategy, nerve and unpredictability.
Todd Woodbridge pushes Australia's most addictive game show over the edge.
One counter for a shot at $40,000.
The more you risk,
2 counters, $20,000. I'll also throw in a holiday.
the more you win.
If you don't get that jackpot, you'll leave here with nothing.
Tipping Point Australia starts Monday, Jan 29 at 5 on 9.
Experience China Discovery from $999 per person, including flights. Visit the Great Wall of China, the Forbidden City in Beijing, Shanghai and more. For bucket list experiences at unbelievable prices, head to tripadeal.com.au.
We're going on a drive now, we're going on a drive. Gonna save ourselves some money for something we're like.
Easy to own, easy to drive. The MG ZS EV. EV now easy.
We've won 2.
At UE, more customer satisfaction awards means more cake. It's a satisfaction cycle.
Customer satisfaction is what U-shaped insurance is all about. UE, you insured.
What is this? Don't you have Paramount Plus? Be better, Gary.
But we already have a streaming service.
Paramount Plus. We're talking blockbusters, new originals, hit series this holiday.
Paramount Plus.
Introducing Prime 100 SPD Slow Cooked. Single protein diets made with quality ingredients and slow cooked for flavour. Request your free sample at prime100.com.au.
At Coles, our experts go to great lengths for quality. Here, there, everywhere. It's why our Aussie grazed cattle and lamb roam free in open pastures.
Ladies and gentlemen, your grass is served.
And it's why we taste test all our Coles own brand products again.
More chocolate.
And again.
Less chocolate.
And again.
Perfect.
Because when you go to great lengths, you get great quality food. Great lengths for quality. That's Coles.
A 22-year-old man has been extradited from Melbourne to Alice Springs over the suspicious death of a Sudanese teenager on New Year's Day. The accused was walked through Melbourne Airport's domestic terminal before boarding a commercial flight with officers.
We have a close relationship with our Victorian colleagues, and through that relationship we're able to use our networks, and he was taken into custody on Saturday morning.
2 other men have been charged in the Northern Territory with accessory to murder.
Victoria's rail network is set to grind to a halt, with hundreds of V-Line workers walking off the job in their fight for better pay and job security. Eliza Rugg is at Southern Cross Station tonight. Eliza, commuters should work from home next Thursday.
Yes, Alicia, that's the advice, and that's because this industrial action will, as you said, bring the entire rail network to a halt during the morning commute next Thursday, January 25, for at least 4 hours between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. It's not actually trained drivers who are going on strike, but rather hundreds of operational staff. So that's people like train conductors, train controllers and customer service workers as well. It's expected up to 90 train services could be cancelled. That's what happened last month when workers also took this similar industrial action. They say their demands are not unreasonable. They want better pay and better job security in this climate of increasing automation.
There is definitely a place for our members in the future, and V-Line and the government needs to acknowledge it right now. We don't want to cause disruptions for commuters, but we understand that is the consequence of it.
What we say to the union is really clear. Talk more, strike less. We're committed to negotiating a really sensible and affordable outcome.
So, Alicia, clearly still some hope that a deal can be done before next Thursday.
Yes, indeed. OK, Eliza, thank you. An alleged leader of the Hells Angels bikie gang has been arrested in Thailand. It's claimed Rodrigo Alicia snuck into the country on a private plane with a false Italian passport before hiding out in a luxury villa. The 31-year-old is wanted in New South Wales for his alleged involvement in a drug trafficking network.
After months of campaigning, it's less than 24 hours until the race to the White House begins. Donald Trump holds a significant lead in the battleground state of Iowa, but tomorrow it'll be those who can bear the cold who'll get to have their say. Lauren Tomasi is there.
A convoy through the snow-covered cornfields. It seems far away, but it's here in Iowa where the race to the White House begins.
Saving America begins with President Trump and begins tomorrow here in Iowa.
The caucuses mark the first test of the 2024 election cycle, not just because they'll be the coldest on record, but because the outcome can help build or break a candidate's momentum.
But these caucuses are your personal chance to score the ultimate victory over all of the liars, cheaters, thugs, perverts, frauds, crooks, freaks, creeps, and other quite nice people.
Next to God, he's one of the greatest men going. He's the best president I think we ever had in the United States.
The question is, will it be a race to second place for Donald Trump's rivals, or could Iowa reshape this race? On a night where turnout matters, it's the weather, which is rapidly becoming every candidate's biggest threat. Who can convince the most Iowans to caucus in this unbearable cold?
Do you think that cold's going to stop people from caucusing tomorrow?
Definitely. So brave the weather and go out and save America, because that's what you're doing. Even if you vote and then pass away, it's worth it.
In Des Moines, Iowa, Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
Still ahead in the news, an embarrassing mishap or something more sinister. An abandoned car found in a Sunbury creek.
Microsoft passes Apple to become the most valuable company in the world.
And rude awakening, a dormant volcano's devastating burst to life.
What are you hoping for?
So,
You've never met anyone.
somebody that's really confident, generous of spirit, knows himself, evolutional living.
We've got some work to do.
That shines
You'll meet the damsel in me that wants you to rub my body.
like Lucinda Light.
Do we have a wet weather plan?
Is this how you imagined your wedding ceremony?
I think it's better.
It's time to fall in love all over again. New Married at First Sight.
Yes.
Starts Monday, Jan 29 on 9 and 9 Now.
Some things are simply better together, like the Simply Energy Saver Plan. And getting $200 credit on your first electricity bill. Get ongoing discounts on your home energy. That's something to smile about. That's Simply Energy, backed by Engie.
Fast 800 is on a mission to help you lose weight fast and keep it off. With our meal plans, workouts and support, you can change your life for the better.
The weight just started dropping off. I think it probably saved my life. My daughter said, I've got my mum back.
I've tried all sorts of diets. This is the only one that really works for me.
Find your freedom with the Fast 800. Start today.
Introducing Craig, the call-up king. When there's a late slot to fill at the races, he goes from having nothing on to getting on quickly. That's why he uses Sportsbet's new fast form to find a winner. Track talent? Tick. Striking distance? Absolutely. Oh, that's good form. Fast and easy. What's this? Another ticket? Giddy up. Make it look easy with Sportsbet.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Family lunch, family dinner. Always a chicken winner.
Yummy!
With Coles Aussie Chicken Breast Schnitzel, down to $9 a pack. Our lowest price in 18 months. That's great value, hands down, at Coles.
My Speed Boost from Superloop lets these guys get extra internet juice when they need it. So, Mum can be teamsing while Dad's streaming. Belle can look for book recommends while Bo is sliding into someone's DMs.
That's not what emojis are for.
Refresh your internet with My Speed Boost from Superloop.
The Mitsubishi Triton Run-Out is on now with over $2,000 of bonus accessories. Available on current 23 model year GSR and GLS. Run in for the legendary Triton Run-Out. Nothing can frighten a Triton.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Cut through the blah to hear more of the sounds you want to hear with Specsavers Advanced Hearing Technology.
Turn off your pie. No sharing.
Book an appointment with our audiology professionals for high-definition sound at low Specsavers prices.
Police divers have scoured a submerged vehicle in Sunbury searching for any victims. The car was found in Jacksons Creek just before 10 this morning. No one was inside. Police are still investigating what led to the vehicle sinking.
One of the finance world's greatest rivalries has entered a new chapter, with Apple being toppled as the most valuable listed company. Finance editor Chris Kohler.
We may be talking about multi-trillion-dollar companies, but they're still jostling each other out of the way. For the first time in 2 years, Microsoft has overtaken Apple as the biggest listed company in the world, worth over 4.3 trillion Australian dollars. In the age of AI, investors seem to be leaning more towards Microsoft, but don't feel too bad for Apple. It could still afford to cover the superannuation of every single Australian and have plenty of change left over. As for our much smaller share market, steady today, quiet with Wall Street closed tonight for Martin Luther King Day. But the company behind Supercheap Auto, Rebel Sport, BCF and Macpac announced a record revenue and its shares hit their highest level ever. And the Australian dollar is buying less than 67 US cents, 61 euro cents and 52.5 British pence.
A community in Iceland has been evacuated as a nearby volcano erupted for the second time in a month. Molten lava has consumed homes as hundreds of earthquakes shook the region. Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey.
The warning signs were there, and fortunately, they were heeded. A fissure along Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula opening up. Fountains of molten rock and lava bubbling and spewing into the air. A stream of red creeps menacingly towards the southwestern fishing village of Grindavik. Homes there bursting into flames. This river of magma is around 1,200 degrees Celsius.
It's a bit of a weird feeling to see a town being destroyed almost in slow motion at this point.
Hundreds of earthquakes prompted the evacuation of the village's 3,800 residents. Iceland's president says no lives were in danger. It's the second time they've fled. They left in November before the first major eruption last month, which spared the village on that occasion. This time, it was in the volcano's path. Not even newly built barriers could stop it.
I'm very sad at the moment. It's very difficult to see all these people who will lost their house probably very soon.
Seismic activity here remains constant. It comes after a search for a man who fell down a crack last week, working to fill crevices, had to be called off. In London, Edward Godfrey, 9 News.
Well, it's been revealed David Warner's missing baggy greens weren't missing at all. The retiring cricketer had taken to social media on the eve of his last test at the SCG, claiming a backpack containing his prized baggy greens was taken out of his luggage. But turns out that wasn't the case. The bag was actually just buried amongst all the team's pile of bags at their hotel in Sydney. Oopsie. All right, let's get more in sport. Head back.
Yes, thanks very much, Tom. I'm glad we've cleared that up. After all the hoo-ha about his cap, he just misplaced the bag. Unbelievable. Anyway, coming up next, Alex de Minaur is about to step onto court and we'll have a full preview from the legendary, the iconic, is that what you wanted me to say? John Millman. And sticking with the Aussie flavour, this local has stormed into the second round. Also, we're live with details on a worrying development for a Dogs young gun. And the Lions get Detroit rocking after a win 3 decades in the making.
That demolition from de Minaur, such an impressive display. The career best win.
Australia, tonight is the night. World number 10, Alex de Minaur.
Australia's top hope.
His quest for AO glory starts here.
Oh, that is out of this world.
This is what it means.
Watch the demon unleash. De Minaur, Roundage.
De Minaur dazzles in Melbourne.
Next on 9 and 9 now.
This is BritBox. What? Yes, even more streaming telly.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm sorry. But it's British.
I'm so sorry. Why are you sorry? I'm just being polite, mate.
Exclusive new shows to classic favourites.
Trust me, this is what I do.
All in one place.
My sincere condolences.
No contract, no ads, no bother.
What more do you want, Anne? Apology.
Unapologetically brilliant British telly. BritBox, the ultimate collection of British telly. Watch with a free trial now.
Hungry Jack's new Texan Bacon Deluxe. Crispy bacon with double flame grilled beef, Texan smoky barbecue and creamy peppercorn sauce. The new Texan Bacon Deluxe. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Oh, that sucks.
It's a good thing you're with Budget Direct, Australia's most award-winning insurer.
Insurance solved with Budget Direct.
Light-powered attraction that protects your home from flying insects. Insecticide-free pest protection. Raid. Everyone deserves protection. SC Johnson.
What if $2 was all it took to live your dream coastal life just minutes from Mooloolaba Beach and turn your ordinary days into your very best days? Someone will win this $3.1 million Marta Prize Home package, and it could be you, starting your days here, relaxing by the pool and experiencing the pure freedom of a mortgage-free life on the Sunshine Coast. Win and your best days are here. Buy your tickets today and support a great cause at martalotteries.com.au.
Please find Gary. Gary. When you need to move fast,
we must find Gary.
Do it with Vodafone's best ever network.
Gary. Gary?
I'm worried that he might be lost forever.
Now with triple the 5G coverage, giving you a faster and more reliable experience than ever before. You'll love our network or get your money back. Make your move to Vodafone.
On now at Harvey Norman, amazing Australian-made value in the Sleepmaker Walton Pocket Coil Queen Mattress. 3 feels, 1 hot price, just $6.99. Achieve the Hamptons look with the Southampton Queen Bed. Great value at just $9.99. At Harvey Norman now.
Welcome back to Melbourne Park, and fair to say it's been a pretty successful day for the Aussies, with two already winning through to the second round. Storm Hunter, what a win. Well, she kicked things off in style for the home fans, while Alicia Popperin was pitted against great mate Mark Polmans, but the prize might not be what he was after. Xander Maguire explains.
Aussie supporters who lined John Cain Arena couldn't lose on day two. Sydney's Alexi Popperin taking on his doubles partner. The joy wasn't guaranteed for locals at the show courts, but Storm Hunter delivered it in spades.
She's done it.
The world #1 doubles player earning her first singles win at the Australian Open in her 11-year career.
It's a dream come true. I've been kind of waiting for it for a few years, so very happy to get it done here today.
Daria Sevilla was on song early, taking her first set in while Aussies Alexander Vukic and Jordan Thompson also find themselves locking horns, both taking a set each and neither giving an inch.
Thompson hanging tough, wearing Vukic down.
World #3 Dmitry Medvedev had a scare, dropping his first set to unseeded Frenchman Terence Atman, before Atman was struck down by cramp and brought to tears after retiring midway through the match of his career. The world #1 also had a rough time in his first round. His 4-hour, 4-set victory, his longest ever Grand Slam opener, pushed to the limit by 18-year-old Croatian Dino Prismic.
It felt at some point that I was playing myself in the mirror, really.
Xander Maguire, 9 News.
So all the attention now turns to our very own Alex de Minaur, and our very own John Millman joins me now to preview that. Excited?
Oh, aren't I ever? The crowds come in their droves, an army full of Australians, not many Canadians, and Alex will love that. He loves the home crowd environment and the atmosphere.
You've played against both of these guys, Milos Raonic and also Alex de Minaur. What are their strengths?
Well, Milos is pretty one-dimensional. He's got a massive serve, one of the biggest serves on tour. Unfortunately for him, injuries prevented him from playing the last couple of years. So it's expect the unexpected with Milos. Alex de Minaur, well, he's the opposite. One of the best returners on tour last year, 5th best on the stats, and he is in some fine form.
And the weight of expectation doesn't seem to hinder him too much, does it?
No, I spoke to him just before in the locker room, and it's the most relaxed I've seen him coming in to a title like this. So he's top 10 in the world. He's really confident. He's got wins under his belt, and I'm expecting a really good performance to kick us off here at the Australian Open.
Hey, enjoying life on Media Street?
Yeah, I know, I love it, and it's a lot easier watching from the stands than actually playing against one of these two, because I didn't have a good record against either of them.
All right, terrific. Good calling tonight, mate.
Thank you.
Okay, John Millman joining us there. It is going to be a magnificent night, isn't it? All right, some footy now. Tim English's pre-season, unfortunately, has hit a speed bump with the Dogs' ruckman dealing with a medical issue. Let's go live now to Chief Footy reporter Tom Morris. And Tom, what's his concern?
Tony, Tim English isn't only out of contract at the end of the year, but he's also off the park at the moment. The Western Bulldogs had their match simulation this morning, and Tim English didn't take part alongside his teammates. In fact, he spent the morning pretty much just doing running and also doing some handball drills as well. Now, the club has described his issue as non-injury related medical concern, translating that English has been just a bit unwell in recent weeks and is yet to fully recover. And while the Dogs expect him back to full training by early February, which is about 2 weeks away, and to be fit for round 1, they're none the wiser as to when he'll re-sign. Now, my understanding is the talks have been paused for the moment, and he'll pick up again maybe halfway through the year at the absolute earliest. Now, in today's form, Riley Sanders picked 6th in last year's national draft. He was outstanding, and I wouldn't be surprised if he started in the midfield in round 1 alongside Marcus Bontempelli and Tom Liberatore. Some other news as well, quickly, the AFL has clarified why player weights have been deleted from the AFL season guide in 2024. While they've never existed for AFLW players, the league says it's based on medical advice, and the reform is in step with the AIS in international guidance on health and well-being. So essentially what they're saying, Tony, is the AFL, led by the health and well-being boss Kate Hall, is catering for male players who may have body or weight issues, and that's where it's at the moment. And lastly, Sean Higgins, the former Cat and Roo, he's rejoined Geelong just about 14 months after he retired. He'll have a one-day-a-week role on the bench every game.
All right, good work, Tom Morris, our Chief Football reporter. More football, and Sam Mitchell's trip to the US, unfortunately, has gone from bad to worse. First, he contracted pneumonia, and now the revelation that he's had his passport stolen. The Hawks coach was back at Waverley for the first time today, with his assistants taking charge while he makes a gradual return.
It just gives someone a chance to step up and grow their skills and take meetings, take things that Sam might have taken in the past. So it's great to see him here today. Looking forward to going up and giving him a big cuddle.
Defender Changwath Jayath is back on track after a stint in Qatar to deal with persistent calf and Achilles injuries. Cricket, and Cameron Green, well, he burst into the Test team as the next big thing, and now after 6 months out of the side, he says he's ready to live up to it. But it's not the role Green expected, revealing he was training to replace Dave Warner, not Steve Smith. More from Sam Jordan.
He scored a century and claimed a 5-wicket haul, but only now does Cameron Green believe he can kick-start his Test career.
I'm very excited. I think I've let all the guys know obviously how much I love playing at number 4 and obviously grateful for the opportunity to be able to do that.
He's played 24 Tests batting at 6, but since making his debut as a 21-year-old, selectors have always viewed Green as our next number 4.
What I like is I've got a bit of time. I've always felt maybe a touch rushed at 6, especially after Heady. He makes it look a bit too easy at number 5. So, yeah, I've always felt like I've maybe had to push the game along where I feel like number 4 is my natural game where, yeah, I can take my time and settle in.
It's an opportunity he didn't think he'd get. Losing the all-rounders role to Mitchell Marsh after suffering injury at the Ashes, Green had begun training for the top of the order.
I thought I was about 95% chance of opening, so that's where my head went for a couple of weeks.
Instead, Steve Smith took that spot, and part of his reason was getting Green back into the team, placing him squarely in the spotlight.
I don't feel any pressure. Obviously, replacing someone like Steve is pretty tough, but yeah, I'm just going to play my own way. But obviously, I'm grateful for him putting that in his mind. It's always nice to hear, but you've got to also showcase it on the main stage. So yeah, I look forward to that.
Smith is adjusting to life at the top, leaving training today for a tea time with Usman Khawaja ahead of their first Test together as openers. Sam Jordan, 9 News.
And finally in sport, they've endured decades of NFL suffering, but tonight Detroit is in raptures. Taking on the LA Rams and their former quarterback Matthew Stafford in the playoffs, the Lions advanced in heart-stopping fashion, 24-23.
One more knee and business is done. And Detroit, for the first time in 32 years, your Lions have won a playoff game.
Meanwhile, disaster in Dallas as the highly fancied Cowboys crashed and burned, thrashed by Green Bay 48-32, much to the displeasure of billionaire owner Jerry Jones. And guys, that wraps up sport for tonight from Melbourne Park. But whatever you do when you get home, plonk yourself on the couch, don't touch the remote, and you'll be glued to the action here.
Great advice, Tony. We will not be going anywhere. Thank you. All right, let's go back to Lavinia, who's also at Melbourne Park tonight. And what does the weather have in store for us tomorrow, Lavinia?
It'll be a windy start to the day, Alicia, but they will be warm northerlies, so another hot summer's day on the way. Then we'll wake to a very different day on Wednesday with heavy rain heading for Melbourne. I'll have all the details for you next.
Huge discounts are happening now at Beacon. It's Australia's biggest fan sale and our massive stock take sale. We're discounting Australia's biggest range of fans plus a huge selection of lights. Hurry, sale ends next Sunday.
Oh, that sucks.
It's a good thing you're with Budget Direct, Australia's most award-winning insurer.
Insurance solved with Budget Direct.
Did you ever find a place? The King Living Summer Sale ends soon. Save up to 50% on Australian-designed indoor and outdoor furniture. This summer, come home to King. Sale ends soon.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Light-powered attraction that protects your home from flying insects. Insecticide-free pest protection. Raid. Everyone deserves protection. SC Johnson.
Kickstart your weight loss goals with new Jumpstart Pro by Light and Easy.
The new Jumpstart program is a fantastic option for someone looking to lose weight. It's so simple and you will get results.
Visit Light and Easy now.
0. It may sound like nothing, but at Engie, our ambition is to be net zero by 2045, and we want to get there fast.
we've exited coal in Australia. Building a future of batteries, wind, solar, and EV charging stations. 0. It's the most important number in our lifetime. That's why for Engie, 0 is everything. This summer, witness the electrifying dance spectacle that is Malevo. A contemporary fusion of malambo, flamenco and percussion at Arts Centre Melbourne from January 23.
Bang, bang on my drum, my tribe's everywhere. Call us what you want, we don't care. Living my best life, living my best life. Do what I feel like, living my best life.
Hello again from Show Court 6. Just as John Cain Arena has become known as the People's Court, this is destined to become the Party Court. With a capacity for 400 fans, the two-storey courtside bar lets fans get closer to the action, as well as enjoy the food, drink and music. But it's really the kids who get to party here at the Happy Slam, with the ballpark offering more fun than ever before. There's loads of activities. The high ropes are a big crowd favourite as kids are challenged by a 17-metre course. And with the weather warming up, the splash zones are the perfect place to cool down. So make sure you pack their bathers. And as one of the best dressed opens, the AO flagship store is now the size of 4 tennis courts. So even if your skills aren't elite, you can certainly look the part. Now, after yesterday's mild start to the tournament, the city's been 7 degrees warmer today, peaking at 30, Geelong reached 29. Epping, Essendon and Ringwood also climbed into the low 30s this afternoon and reached the high 20s in most other spots. There's been thunderstorms just over the border in New South Wales, but it's been a calmer and drier day across Victoria. Northern and western parts of the state warmed up into the 30s, but the easterly breezes have kept it cooler across Gippsland. Tomorrow, it'll be warm and partly cloudy for most districts, with maximums in the high 20s and low 30s statewide, but scattered showers and isolated storms will develop through the west. Falls of up to 10 millimetres are expected, but storms could deliver higher totals. It'll be a windy start to the day in Melbourne, particularly through northern suburbs. Then under partly cloudy skies, it'll warm up to 29 or 30 in most spots, but there is the chance of a shower or two in eastern suburbs later in the day, with a slight chance of a storm sparking up. After an overnight low of 18, Geelong's heading for 30 degrees with a slight chance of a late shower or two, but the city should stay dry as it also heads to 30. But we can expect rain from the early morning on Wednesday, up to 25 millimetres, and the likelihood of storms. The system will clear out quickly. Dry skies and 22 on Thursday, 22 again on Friday with only the slight chance of a shower, 27 on Saturday, 24 on Sunday, 25 next Monday. So Wednesday aside, there's a great week of weather ahead, Alicia and Tom.
Yes, we won't focus on that too much, Lavinia. Thank you. And that is 9 News this Monday.
We hope you have a great evening. For now, good night.